All right, so we do finally see a little bit of a pullback today. It is Friday, May 17th. Let's break it down for a quick session recap here. So we come into the session, a couple of the things I had discussed this morning in the pre-market live. Number one, most importantly, is the fact that following a big expansion move, you're going to see these type of tighter range compression days. This is normal. Right, I know it was OPEX today as well. We had monthly option expiry for those that are unfamiliar with what OPEX is. But more importantly than OPEX, we have 2 days of expansion, right? Tuesday, Wednesday, a more massive expansion that also made a fresh all-time high. Whenever volatility shows that expansion, you do get a contraction move. So I reiterate this over and over again because I always get questions when action is slower, like it was today, like it was yesterday. The sooner you can internalize and understand that compression moves are going to follow expansion moves, the better off you'll be in, number one, expecting and then changing your behaviors on sessions like yesterday, on sessions like today. So we come into the sesh essentially wanting to see how price is going to be trading versus yesterday's low. That's going to be our primary reference point for today, simply because we do have that exhaustion bar on the daily time frame chart. Now, we do see a bit of that selling today. We do definitely get a bit of a pullback today. I'd mentioned, pulling back here even into the fast moving average. I believe this is, what period is this? Either going to be the 5 or the 8. Yeah, this is the 5 period moving average. So pulling back into that fast MA is going to be healthy. It's going to be normal, well within the expectations for today's session. That's exactly what we saw. Now, also notably, take a look at how price bounced today versus our downside level of interest. But what I like to pair with that is the Fib retracement. I had posted this in the chat. Some of you may have seen it, but we do have that Fibonacci buy zone right through there. So I love to utilize the 50 to 61% from whatever trend day move we're looking at as kind of a Fibonacci buy zone. We do see price testing that 18,550 downside level of interest. We know the fast MA is right there, and we know that is the Fibonacci buy zone. It's a good area to be getting an assessment of how eager buyers are to step back in with this monstrous trend that we have seen. And we could see pretty much a bounce back into what was that intraday range, right? Prior intraday range. So now just pretty much oscillating here near that VWAP, near that 18,630 level of interest here on NQ. As far as what I'll be looking for on Monday, I essentially want to see how is price going to be trading versus today's range. That's going to be the easiest approach for Monday. We've got today's high up through here, today's low down into here, currently just in the middle, right? Now, again, we're looking to assess if this pullback is going to have more steam behind it, or buyers are just going to continue to step in, pay up, and push us into fresh all-time highs yet again. What I'll be looking at for that assessment is how this near-term 15 and 30-minute structure continues to build out, right? So we have the big expansion move on Wednesday. That marks a fresh all-time high. You got a little blip above that prior day high yesterday, right? And then bit of selling into the close. Now today is showing a bit of follow through with that selling, but responsive buyers where we would expect them. Now, as far as the structure in the near term, it is starting to show a bit of a downtrend, right? So these are scenarios that we definitely want to be keeping an eye on. Keep an eye on that 15-minute chart, that 30-minute chart, and how that structure really starts to develop. Now, the other scenario to consider here is the possibility that price just develops into a new range, kind of sets up a new base before that next leg higher, right? There's nothing that is overly bearish about the current setup. If we take a look at the daily chart, it's expected to see, some selling up here at all-time highs. That's not really unusual, but take a look at your weekly. Let me take the lines off of here. Not really a bearish case that can be made for this, right? So keep an eye on those higher time frame charts, especially if you are thinking, overly bearish thoughts. Definitely bears had, their attempt through here. Once we saw that change in character a couple of weeks ago, they really dropped the ball. And then we had other areas where they could have shown up right through here, right? With that sell. And then today, another opportunity to really sell this off. And we're not seeing that selling activity. So stay nimble. Anytime you're counter trend trading, trend is obviously higher right now. Anytime you're counter trend trading, stay nimble, take what you can get, right? No need to be a hero, because that's just an easy way to give money away. Alrighty. So as far as Monday, it's kind of long-winded there, but as far as Monday on NQ, pretty much just want to see how price trades versus this near-term structure. I'll be looking at today's range primarily. Now let's jump over to ES. The structure is quite similar. Here's your Fibonacci buy zone, right? Get a bit of that pullback. Now price does not even give a test of our downside 5,300. So ES showing a bit more relative strength versus NQ, which has kind of been the theme for this week. We've seen that a lot this week. ES made a fresh session high into the close. Following that bounce, right? You have a new high of day. So for ES, to keep it really simple, what we can do is just watch how price trades versus today's high on Monday. Do buyers start to step in again here for that move up into 53.33, prior all-time high, and then that 53.50, the true all-time high now. So very shallow dip, gets absorbed, buying continues. That's pretty much all we need to understand about this. The other thing to consider here is the fact that the volume point of control from this week is still way down here, right? So I wouldn't be surprised early next week to see more consolidation on Monday, potentially Tuesday, to essentially let more market participants get involved, right? You see that kind of structure build out, a little bit of a near-term range. You'll see a volume point of control shift into this area for the week. That would be like accumulation, right? Before the next leg higher. So we'll see if that pans out. That is a highly likely scenario in my mind for next week. So I'll give a big picture update with the weekly kickoff newsletter on Sunday. But as far as Monday, we're just looking at how price trades versus today's range. Hope everyone had a profitable profitable week. If you have any questions, if you're struggling with anything, feel free to shoot me a DM in the Traders Think Tank. Otherwise, I'll see you Monday morning. Have a good weekend. Later.